Hey family, welcome back to another episode of Healing Out Loud. I'm really grateful you're here with me today. Whether this is your first episode or you've been here since the beginning, welcome. Because today on episode 7, we're talking about something a lot of people struggle with quietly but deeply, letting go without closure. And I want to start by saying this slowly. You are not weak for struggling with this. You are not broken for feeling stuck in this. And you are definitely not alone in this experience. Because most of us were taught that in order to move on, we need answers. We need clarity. We need understanding. We need explanations. We need apologies. We need the whys. We need the conversations that never happened. But real life doesn't always give us that. Sometimes people leave without explaining. Sometimes situations end without warning. Sometimes relationships shift without clarity. And sometimes things just stop. And you're left trying to emotionally process something that never gave you any ending. Let's slow this down a little bit, because this is where most people get stuck. We believe closure is something we receive from someone else. We think if they just explain it, if they just apologize, if they just understand what happened, then I can finally move forward. But here is the truth. Closure is not always something another person gives you. And sometimes it never comes. And that's one of the hardest emotional truths to accept, because leave you in a space where your mind keeps searching for answers that don't exist. And when your mind can't find answers, you start creating them. Your mind does not like unfinished stories. It replays things over and over, conversations, moments, memories, words that were said and words that weren't. And it starts asking, what happened? What did I do wrong? Could I have changed it? Why wasn't I enough? Why did it end like that? And you don't just ask those questions once. You would play them, sometimes daily, sometimes at night, sometimes when everything is quiet, because your mind is trying to solve something your heart already lived through. But not everything has a solution. Some things only have endings. Not having closure can feel like replaying conversations over and over in your head, trying to find meaning in silence, questioning yourself consistently over and over, feeling stuck emotionally even though life keeps moving, feeling like something is unfinished inside of you, like a chapter ended, but your mind is still inside of it. And what makes it harder is that you may look fine on the outside, but inside, something still feels open, still unsolved, still unspoken. Let's be honest about this part. We are not always stuck on the person. We are stuck on what we thought it was. We thought it was going to last forever. We hoped it would become what we expected the ending to look like, what we imagined would happen. And when reality doesn't match that explanation, your mind tries to rewrite it. It tries to fix it. It tries to go back and understand it. But some things don't get rewritten. Some things just end. Let me say this clearly. You may never get the apology. You may never get the explanation. You may never get the why. You may never get the closure conversation. And I know that's hard. From real life experiences, I know it's hard. But I need you to hear this part. You still get to heal. You still get to move forward. You still get to choose peace. because your healing is not waiting on someone else's understanding. Your healing belongs to you. Letting go does not mean it didn't matter. It didn't hurt. It wasn't real. You didn't care. Letting go means I refuse to keep reopening something that is already over. Letting go means I accept that I may never understand everything. I choose peace anyway. Letting go means I am no longer going to stay emotionally attached to something that cannot give me closure. This is where things change. Self-closure sounds like I may never understand everything, but I understand enough to move forward. I may never get an apology, but I still choose peace and I still choose to forgive. I may never get the answers, but I don't have to stay stuck waiting for them. That is emotional growth. That is healing. That is choosing yourself. Sometimes closure is not a conversation. Sometimes closure is a decision to stop reopening what is already closed, a decision to stop revisiting what keeps reopening emotional wounds, a decision to say, this is done, not because it didn't matter, but because you matter too. Say this with me. I release what I cannot change. I accept what I may never understand. I choose peace over unanswered questions. I allow myself to move forward without closure. I give myself the closure I needed. I am healing. I am growing. I am letting go. One moment at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this episode resonated with you or something I said spoke to you in a real way, I want you to sit with that. You don't need all the answers to start healing. You don't need closure from anyone else to begin letting go. If this message touched you today, I want you to come back for the next episode, because in episode 8, we're going to be diving into rebuilding after emotional loss. We're going to talk about what happens after letting go, how you start rebuilding your self-worth, and how you begin again after emotionally heavy situations that come up in your life. Now, this is Healing Out Loud. And remember, you can let go without closure. You can rebuild after a loss. Until next time, take care of yourself, give yourself grace, and keep building and healing out loud.